Hello BRICK fans, live long and prosper. It's us, and we're back again with our Little is a Lot series.
That we are. And today we're going to talk about the Star Trek mini models.
Exactly, and we have 8 here, if I have not miscounted.
No.
And they're from the original series,
Yes.
TNG, and from the films.
Yes, and we would like to show you them and tell you why you should buy them, because they're cool.
Exactly, and they're little, so they fit well to our Little is a Lot series, and there are a lot of them, so they fit even better. All right.
Exactly. And because they're so small, they fit quite well on the shelf.
Exactly, they're perfect display models.
Yes, they are.
All right, grab one, tell us about it.
Well, let's start with that one.
All right.
This is a Romulan warbird from Star Trek the original series in a mini size, which is, well, it's still bigger than my hand, but in terms of model size, it's not that big, which is why it's in the series. And it still manages to capture the iconic painting that the Romulan bird of prey has in the original series. Albeit it is here in brick build form, not in the print, which I actually prefer.
I think it adds to the whole, look of the ship.
Yes.
The first time I realised it was actually when I carried it and then turned it around. I was like, I get it now why it's a bird of prey. I see. So I did like that. Thought that was a cool thing. All right, I'll grab this guy here, or the ship. It's the U.S.S. Stargazer. Again, I still haven't watched Star Trek. I know, I was already shamed in the YouTube comments.
Yes, shame him again.
Yes, certainly do. But at least I can say something about these ships from their looks. I like this because, I know the Enterprise has this round thing as well, and it just has one of these, and this has two of these. Can you tell me why it has two?
Depends on, well, I guess the boring answer would be because the designers thought it looked cool, which it does.
I agree.
There's a different fan explanations in universe, and the general one is, or the one I prefer, is that the warp nacelles have a little, they need some cooldown after they've been, put through their paces. And if you've got 4, you can basically distribute the stress on the engines via 4 nacelles and not 2, which means that they can maintain higher speeds for longer.
Oh, okay, so there's a certain idea to it, and there's a gun torrent down here, I assume.
Yes, but I'm not sure why that one is there.
Ah, okay.
Truth be told.
Well, it's there.
Yeah.
Adds to the set as well. I do like the Stargazer, it's a cool set. Of course, we have talked in our Versus series about the Excelsior, my favourite. I find it very cool. We don't need to really go much into detail. It's long, it's cool, it's sleek, it's elegant. I very much like that. And in the back shelf, we have the
big one.
The bigger one. But this is a lovely rendition of it in small.
Especially since if you like the design and you do not have the space, or let's be honest, if you do not want to pay as much for the big one, the small one is a nice and entirely brick-built variation of or alternative. Talking today is not my forte.
All right. Also, you did talk a little bit about the price. All these sets are, if I remember correctly, between 12 and 18 euros. So you can get a nice little collection for just over 100 euros of all these 8 ships. So it looks very good and can add to your, Star Trek collection. So we've discussed him, we've discussed him. The Cardassian, which does sound very much like a famous American family. What I really like about this is the bronze plating here.
Yeah.
That is the coolest brick colour I've seen that we have. I absolutely adore the way that this brown, is this brown or what's this colour?
Dark tan.
Dark tan mixed with the metallic bronze.
Yeah.
Is that the correct name?
It's not sure actually, it's pearl copper, I think.
Pearl copper. Well, it looks fantastic. It really adds to the set.
It does.
I'm not a fan of the name, but that's due to the associations with the famous American family. It sounds like it.
Well, I think these came first.
Yes.
This is basically a Gala class, and if you've got the Deep Space Nine at home, this one fits perfectly right next to it, even though it says Star Trek The Next Generation. Why does it say Star Trek The Next Generation? Well, that's because that is where the ship first aired, or was first seen on screen. During one of the episodes where they discussed briefly the Cardassian Federation War, which becomes more prevalent and more important when, Deep Space Nine starts.
Okay, so you've got this, which fits into lots of different series, right?
Oh yeah.
Now let's talk about this one. I'm going to let you pronounce it, because I probably will pronounce it incorrectly.
It's not that difficult. It's called Dideridex.
Dideridex, okay.
Yeah. It's a Romulan warbird, and you know, when you compare this one to... Haha, we got the big one back there.
Should I get it?
Yes, why not?
Okay.
This one, way smaller, still has got the see-through area down here, which is, you basically build the shell, upper shell and the lower shell, and then you fit them together. And even in that scale, you do not need any transparent pieces in between. And if you compare the two of them, you can see that this one here is far more rounded, and it's even more rounded than the original, but due to the size, it wasn't possible to do it in the correct angle. And this one here actually fits the curvature of the original beak of the warbird better than with a larger model.
But yes, a very cool ship as well. I do like it. I also like the trans green here.
Oh yeah.
Very, very... I like the way that every little ship has a few added extras. Here, of course, it's the trans blue in the middle of the warp drives. Those are the warp drives. At the back here, you've got the bird of prey on the bottom of it. Here you have the elongated blue things. Here you have the pearl copper. Here you have the trans green. I like the way that everything is kind of, thought out. It's very, very cool.
And here you basically got the evolution of the Klingon ship design. This one is a Vor'Cha Cruiser from the Next Generation. The main battle cruiser for the Klingon Empire, which is generally on a par with the Galaxy class ship, but that's because this one here is a warship and doesn't have any facilities for science, or not really a lot of facilities for science and for exploration, which is... there's a lot of discussion online and during fans about the Klingon Empire in general, and it's generally thought that the focus of the Klingon Empire on war on expense to everything else, including research or medicine even, will not serve them well in the near future. But please write down your theories and your ideas and your thoughts about that down in the comments below.
So they're a warring race?
Yes.
Okay, well, they have a pretty cool warship.
That they do.
This is the other one?
Yeah, and you can actually see the evolution. This is one of the D7 battle cruisers from Star Trek the original series, if you'll just take it like this. Okay. There you can basically see that the shape is rather similar. You've got an elongated neck, you've got a wing structure, and you've got the warp pylons. Not the pylons. What are they called? Nacelles, warp nacelles, that was it. Which are hanging from down below from the pylons. And you've got a bridge section here with the main torpedo launcher, just the same as it is with the Katinga.
Okay, so these are just the updated version, and then they decided to paint this one green.
Not really. There is 100 to 150 years between the two models.
Ah, okay.
And so they evolved.
Oh yeah, well, I like both evolutions.
Oh, yeah.
Although I must say I prefer the green one. All right.
And maybe, who knows, if we can make it, I am going to push for having the third iteration of that, which is the Negvar, which looks even better.
Okay.
If I'm able to get through.
I'm very interested to see that one. Right, final one. And
Yes.
then our Little Is a Lot Star Trek series is over. The U.S.S. Reliant. I always like things called Reliant because you hope they're reliable, and most often than not, they're not.
At least this one doesn't have 3 wheels.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but that one goes together very well with this one. Do you know why that is?
Well, I haven't watched Star Trek, so let me guess.
Once again, shame him in the comments.
Ooh, look, this has got a nice little blue, like baby blue, and so is this.
Okay.
That's about as far as I can go. And they've both got a saucer type thing at the front.
Yes, and it's actually the same size, which is not a coincidence, because the model makers from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, actually repurposed it, and it was meant to look like another version with the same components than the refit Constitution class. And as the fans of you know, and you don't, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan is basically a battle between two people, Khan and Captain Kirk, and the battle between two ships, because Khan escapes from his exile on his unfortunately desertificated planet of Alpha City 5, 4, 6? Please write it down below in the comments. And he hitches a ride and basically hijacks that ship.
This one, the Reliant.
Yes, and he looks for Captain Kirk because he makes him, or he holds him accountable and responsible for marooning him on that planet, even though Kirk had no idea that the planet was going to become a desert. And a battle ensues, which is very nice, especially for the era, and the acting is top-notch, especially from Ricardo Montalban. And if you haven't watched it, you should, because there's debate which Star Trek movie is the best, but Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan usually comes out either the top spot or the second spot.
All right, well, I'll keep that in mind. Certainly to see these ships as well. Let's add them over here as well. And then we'll let the detail camera swoop once over all of them. We can hold these two up. Oop. He came off his stand and back on. So we can hold these two up, and then the detail camera can see all our 8 little ships, or 9 including this one. And yes, that's our A Little Is a Lot series. There won't be many videos in this series. We'll just keep them short, maybe only this month. If, however, you want to see more little sets, let us know in the comments. But I think this is a nice way to, kind of go towards the end of the Little Is a Lot series before we go on to more Bigger is Better series.
Oh, yes.
All right, but this is our Little Is a Lot. These are some of our 8 or 9 little Star Trek ships. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, you can never have enough bricks.
So what's stopping you from getting more?
See you next time and have fun building.
And thank you for watching. Goodbye. Live
Goodbye.
long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.